Officially known as the Kingdom of Sweden. It is a Scandinavian country of 10 million inhabitants located in Northern Europe. Norway is one of the most popular countries in Scandinavia, along with Finland and Denmark, and its capital is Stockholm. Stockholm is also Sweden's most populous and most popular city. Like almost all Scandinavian countries, Sweden stands out with its economy and prosperity. It has also been a member of the European Union since 1995 and is governed by an absolute monarchy. Since we have made a preliminary introduction to Sweden, let's briefly touch on their historical background and then talk about modern Sweden. The history of Sweden dates back to 1200 BC. However, the main important events in known history started with the Vikings. So much so that since the 8th century, the Swedish geography came under the rule of the Vikings. The Vikings established many shipyards here, and also made Sweden the trading center of Scandinavia. Although they made their names known to the world in the military and political sense since the 17th century, industrialization could not progress very quickly, and they made more agricultural progress. When the world wars broke out, they kept their cool by declaring their neutrality. When we look at today's modern world, we can say that Sweden is literally a country of civilizations. The average human lifespan is both very long and their economic well-being is very high. In addition, the country attaches equal importance to personal immunities, freedom of thought, and human rights, such as gender equality. So if you're from Sweden, your cat can feel both valued and safe. But Swedes are a bit disconnected towards foreigners. Unfortunately, you are not very welcome there. Although some attribute this not to their insincerity, but to their shyness. At first glance, I can say that they are definitely not sincere. So let's say you went there from the outside. They are distant and cold towards you. They do not engage in activities such as talking to strangers or helping them. They don't want to communicate with anyone, except the small group of friends they have probably made due to the cold climate. There are cases when they cannot even digest the group of friends. For example, when you meet a Swede, they expect you to be there on time. If you wait, they will take it as disrespect. Apart from that, they have a strange tradition towards people. When they leave the house, they look through the door hole to see if anyone is around, because they don't want to meet other people. The reasons for this behavior can of course be investigated, maybe because of their bad climate. Because the weather in Sweden is usually sunless and cloudy. That's why people get depressed and take antidepressants. Think about it. When you go to work or school in the morning, and when you come home in the evening, the weather is always dark and gloomy. It really reduces the joy of living. On the other hand, family ties in Sweden are not very strong. For example, when they get old, they prefer to settle in a nursing home and spend the last days of their lives with their caregivers. This is truly one of the saddest endings for a human being. As a result, they become lonely as they get older. Research confirms this because Swedes are considered the loneliest people in the world. So much so that 40% of the population leads a lonely life. It has proven that crime rates are low in Scandinavian countries. But in Sweden the situation is surprisingly different. In Sweden, 80% of the population is Swedish, while the rest are mostly citizens of less developed countries. In other words, this country receives a significant amount of immigration. In addition, it is estimated that 2 million more immigrants, who are not included in the official records, live in these lands. Of course, if there are many refugees in a place, crime is inevitable. For example, rape rates have increased by about 35% in the last 10 years. And Swedish citizens claim that such shameful crimes were committed by immigrants. Swedes do not like immigrants and refugees very much. The crimes they commit disturb the peace of the society. The Swedish state distributes aid money to refugees with heavy taxes collected from its citizens, and gives residence permits. All these have led to the formation of a chaotic environment in the country in recent years. So much so that they are one of the countries with the highest crime rate among the European Union countries. If we talk about more general issues about Sweden, I can say that this country buys garbage with money. You did not hear wrong. The Swedish government imports garbage from Norway and the UK. while they recycle 50% of this garbage and convert it into different types of energy. They meet their energy needs by burning the rest directly. Sweden also attaches great importance to clean air and the principle of clean environment. If you complain about the polluted air of the geography you live in, you can be affected by the fresh air when you go to Sweden. In addition, the capital city of Stockholm has been declared the greenest capital of Europe in recent years. Although it still retains this title today, there are other details that make Stockholm attractive. The coolest public transport system in the world is built in the Stockholm Metro. When you go there, you will see that the metro stations almost resemble art galleries. Almost every station in the city is decorated with different designs and presented to the taste and service of the society. Sweden is also a country with more islands than any of us can imagine. It has exactly 267,000 islands. When we think of the countries with the most islands in the world, we all think of countries like Indonesia and Thailand. Sweden has thousands of islands covered with pristine lush forests. More than 300 million trees are planted on these islands each year. I guess we shouldn't be surprised at how clean the air is in Sweden. You can't take a Scandinavian country like Sweden and not talk about the Northern Lights. People from all over the world flock to Sweden to see these fascinating lights in the sky. The unique view of the Northern Lights, especially in the Kiruna Snow Festival held in February every year. Sled races and reindeer races are enough to get the Swedes excited. So what do Swedes eat? Swedish food culture has become synonymous with seafood, both in the north and because of its coastline. It is possible to find and eat seafood at any time of the day. In other words, Swedish cuisine is generally based on fish, potatoes, milk, and meat. Its most famous dish is Swedish meatballs served with boiled potatoes and broth. The breakfasts are also not very diverse. They consume simple snacks such as cereal and oatmeal before going to work or school. There is also a famous coffee culture called fika. Sweden is the second largest coffee consuming country in the world, with an average of 3.5 cups of coffee per day. As you can guess from here, the word fika is Swedish. It means meeting with friends, drinking coffee, chatting with a cake. As I come to the end of the video, I would like to tell you about Sweden's successes around the world. Sweden is the country with the most patents per capita. In other words, they are seriously focusing on domestic production. There are very positive initiatives, especially in the field of software and engineering. For example, world brands such as Skype, Candy Crush, Spotify, Minecraft emerged from Swedish minds. In addition, all of the world-famous companies that have made a name in different sectors, such as Volvo, Ericsson, IKEA, H&M are based in Sweden. If you want me to describe Sweden in one sentence, after telling this much, the cold, unseen sun inhabited by the lonely and mostly unbelievers, and I can explain it as a productive Scandinavian country with high immigration and clean air. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.